This is the 2023 Hyundai Palisade Limited. It's the front-wheel drive version, and it has a sticker price of $48,830. I'm going to show you today what you can expect to find on this vehicle if it's something you want to buy for that price. What exactly do you get? Well, you get quite a bit, and there are some changes to report for 2023. Redesigned front and rear end of the vehicle, so you're going to have the front fascia and the rear as well that are going to look a little bit different. Don't worry, one of the changes you won't find here is all the plastic, but that just is here because this is basically fresh off the truck. So I got my hands on it very quickly. Obviously, you have the power rear lift gate right here. I'm going to close that to give you a better look. You're going to have LED lighting here, LED taillights, LED headlights, and LED daytime running lights. So everything here is LED. And something that you're going to find here we can't say about every three-row SUV is that all three rows, whether it's front, center, or rear, are all plentiful with space. And then we'll walk our way around here. Yes, you will have the heated, power adjustable, but manually folding side view mirrors on here. They are heated as always. That's a good thing. And then we're going to have a very tastefully done front end. Very nice looking LED headlights right here. There obviously are your brights right there. And then I like how everything flows. Obviously, they're flowing with the daytime running lights all the way from the top to the bottom right here. Flowing very well. Here is the built-in side air curtain that's going to allow air to flow through. That's going to reduce drag, increase aerodynamics, and give the best gas mileage possible out of what's under the hood. And here with this front end, I really like what has been done here. I like how everything flows off of the blinker right here into the grille on both sides. And the fact that it's blacked out, and so is the emblem. That is a win, at least in my book. Tell me what you think about that. Would you rather see chrome, maybe brushed aluminum, or do you like the black that is there? A lot going on here. And then obviously under the hood, well, let's talk a little bit about what that is. It is the 3.8 liter six-cylinder. This is standard across all trim levels. It makes 291 horsepower and 262 pounds-feet of torque. It does have front-wheel drive, as I mentioned earlier, at least on this model, and it's paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission. Going to have those nice hydraulic hood struts to lift the hood up and keep it in place. That way you don't have to look around for a manual prop rod. Now, one thing that is very important here, let's get this driver's door out of the way. Let's talk a little bit about MPGs. 19 city, 27 highway, 22 combined, and 4.5 gallons of gas is what Hyundai says you should use per every 100 miles you drive. And if you're curious to know, well, how much gas does the gas tank hold? It has 18.8 gallons as its capacity. And here's the thing. I think a lot of you are going to like the fact that you don't have capless fuel fill. Tell me what you think about that down in the comments. Do you like capless fuel fill? Do you not? Does it make a difference? I'm always curious to know. As far as tire and wheel size goes, if you go with the XRT, the Limited as we have here today, or the Calligraphy, you're going to find a 245 on the width. That's a very meaty size tire, meaty width. A lot of tread on the road, a lot of rubber on the road. That's good. You will also find the 50 series sidewall that's going to contribute to good ride quality because it's really just the right size. It's not too big and it's not too small like a low profile, wrapped around 20-inch wheels. The remaining trim levels will have a 245/60 with 18-inch wheels. And real quick, a quick look at your remote. You can see what's there, the lock, unlock. You've got the button for that power tailgate. There's your panic button and remote start. And if you like brushed aluminum, well, you have quite a bit of that here as opposed to chrome. I know people have their preferences where that kind of thing is concerned. Chrome surround on the windows, a little bit of gloss black here and a few other areas as well. Brushed aluminum on your roof rails up there, as well as back here on the rear window as far as the trim goes. And it almost looks like it's just one continuous piece of glass. There actually is gloss black right here, but the window ends here, but it looks like it comes almost all the way back here. Nice rear roof spoiler. And I like the contrast that that gloss black shark fin antenna up there brings. The only thing I would change back here, if it were me, a lot of people probably aren't concerned about it, I would hide away, tuck away the rear window wiper right up here inside of the rear roof spoiler. You can tow up to 5,000 pounds if you would like to with your Palisade. You will have the dual exhaust down there, the exhaust finishers I should say. And interior cargo capacity comes in at 18 up to 86.4 cubic feet. And you can lower the middle row seats just by pushing these buttons right here, or you can also raise the seats here in the rear. You'll have to raise the middle row seats manually, but you can raise these middle row seats. If I can hit the button right here, I'll show you that real quick, just so you can see one of those come up to see how easy this is to do. And the thing I like is you notice that I only push that button one time. You don't have to hold the button down. That obviously makes a big difference. And just so you can see it in action, I'm going to lower those middle row seats now. Just one little push of the button. Let me see if I can give you a good view here. There we go. We just pushed that one time. Whoops, didn't push it hard enough. There we go. Now that falls down, laying flat, maximizing cargo capacity. There's quite a bit of space back here for not only cargo, but obviously for middle and rear seat passengers as well. And here in the rear area, you'll also find additional space for cargo under the floor. There are the tools for changing a tire if you need to. Quite a bit of storage space within the interior. And working our way into the interior through the passenger side door in the rear, soft touch materials here, a nice comfortable armrest. You can see my arm fits on there very nicely. And you're gonna be able to fit a nice sized bottle in here, or maybe a blender bottle of protein powder or post-workout if you're taking your friends to the gym. And then something I wanted to show you here. You can change the positioning of these middle row seats. There's a release on the front to do that, so you can actually increase rear leg room for passengers back there. And there's a button right here on top of the seat. That gets everything nice and out of the way. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hop in here real quick, and I can show you a couple of neat things here. You've got the rear sunroof right here, a very large sunroof. That's a nice feature. Now, I don't have the seat all the way back, but I have plenty of space here. There's plenty of additional space to move it forward even more. It depends on who's sitting there. But there is a lot of space back here. You can also see we have a couple of cup holders, and as you can see, heated rear seats. That is a nice feature. How many vehicles have that? Not very many. And then the USB port right there. So quite a bit back here for rear seat passengers. Also going to have the air conditioning vents right here as well. So everybody will stay nice and cool or nice and warm depending on what time of year it is. Before we move on to the middle row seat, I do want to make sure I point something out. Obviously you have the heated seat control right there in the front. The back two switches or buttons are for reclining or bringing forward the seat backs here in the rear seat area. You can do the same thing manually here with these middle row seats. And with the air conditioning vent being up here, that means there's more space right here for a lot of options. You have the heated seats here in the rear, or the middle I should say, and the ventilated as well. So quite nice. You can control the climate here, fan speed, all that good stuff, the temperature, and then you can see your connectivity that you have down there as well. You've got these seat back pockets here, and there is a lot of space, as you can see. I probably don't have to tell you too much about that. And then the oh crap handle, if somebody wants to drive spiritedly with that 291 horsepower, well, they can. And by the way, we looked at those door bins that you have right there, but you also have two more cup holders right here. There's quite a few cup holders throughout the interior of this Palisade. Okay, moving on to the front seat area. Basically the same thing as we saw, nice soft touch materials, a little bit more space with the door bin right here. And then we're gonna have the power adjustable passenger seat here, obviously heated and ventilated. And then we'll hop inside here. In fact, I will close the door so we can have a little bit less noise from the road out there. A nice look, kind of seamless all the way across. You almost don't even know where the air conditioning vents start and stop unless you look down low enough, because it's just kind of flows with everything. So a very nice look there. And then the glove box, no gloves in here, but a few other things can fit, obviously. A lot of space in there. And you can see that I have my bottle right there. That's an interesting setup, by the way. Let's see if we can get that out of the way. So you can make more room here if you want it, or you can bring the cup holders out. You also have your wireless charging right there. And like I said, you have heated and ventilated seats. So hopefully you can see that on the screen. It's a little bit bright today. There's your heated, there's your ventilated, also a heated steering wheel. And then we're going to have the ability, if you want to conceal all of this away, well, there's your cover to do that, or you can leave that open. And the multitasking lid for the armrest. You can put your arm on there, or, well, take advantage of it being, well, the lid for the console, the center console. Quite a bit of space down in there. And you can see, let's see if we can get this out of the way. You have some more connectivity options down there as well. Quite a bit going on here, that's for sure. Now, one thing that I know some people, if I can get that down in there, let's make sure that goes in correctly. One thing some people might have varying opinions on, you have the push button shifter right here. What do you think about that? Would you rather have a conventional style shifter or maybe even a column shifter up there? And we're not going to see a lot that's different here on the driver's side door compared to what we saw on the passenger side. You will have the controls for those power adjustable heated side view mirrors and seat memory right here. And I don't know how well you can see it, but you do have, well, it's probably going to be hard to see here, but there is a head-up display up there. And don't mind that kind of glitchy look where it looks like it's blinking right there. The instrument cluster, that is due to the shutter speed of my GoPro. Now, I like the fact that right here you have the option to go through driving modes. And so let's see what we have here. We have Smart. We'll start there. Smart, we're going to have Eco. We're going to have Comfort. And my favorite, and the best looking in my opinion, is going to be Sport. So obviously quite a bit there and quite a few nice features here as far as what you can do, what you can use. You can see what all is there. I think you know you can turn the idle stop or auto stop start feature off. You also have auto hold right there. And then as far as the overall design of the steering wheel, I really like that. It just looks nice. The heated steering wheel, you've got the paddle shifters up here, and make sure you use your blinkers. Obviously, you can control the headlights here and all that functionality, but here's one reason why you want to use your blinkers. Not only because you want to be courteous and let people around you know what you're doing, but when you turn to the right or change lanes to the right, look at what happens. You get to see what's in your blind spot, and the same thing to the left on the corresponding side of the instrument cluster. So a very nice look. And the infotainment screen here, quite a bit going on there, as you can see. There is a lot here. It looks great. It's easy to use. You even have your user's manual right there, but you will have to use the QR code with your phone to get into that, if I can get that to work. There we go. That's just my lack of experience with this particular screen, but you will use the QR code to see the owner's manual on your phone. Not a big deal, but it is there. You've got the map right here, so built-in navigation. That is always a plus, but I'll tell you one of my favorite features here. Let's go into reverse and I'll show you the cameras. Can you see that? That looks awesome. You've got the overhead view. It's going to let you zoom in if you need to. You can zoom back out. You have the trajectory lines there to show you what's going on in multiple views here because you have the 360-degree view. And unlike some of the Land Rovers out there, really all of them that have the 360-degree view, you even have the sensors to let you know when you're getting close to something when you're backing up or going forward. So all those front and rear parking sensors. But instead of just pushing a button and it really goes around the vehicle, you really can't control where it goes as easily. I like here, you can. It just follows the touch of your finger, the motion of your finger. So you can literally look from any angle that you want to. You can spin it around. You can do whatever you want to do. I like the fact that it just stops when you want it to stop and where you want it to stop. It's a very nice look, very nice view. You can't hit anything anymore, at least you shouldn't, because you'll be able to see everything around you. It just looks great. I'm really impressed with that. So you have quite a bit here. Obviously some one-touch buttons here. You've got the controls for the volume right there. You can go through your stations here, and then several one-touch buttons here, your hazard lights, and then all the rest of the one-touch there for the infotainment screen. But one thing, and let me show you also before we get on the road for our test drive, I'm going to mount the camera to the sunroof right here, but you have the front and rear sunroofs as well. A very interesting thing. One thing that I do think is interesting here is you have the manual shade in the front, but the power shade back there in the rear. Okay, out on the test drive here, the one thing about this road that I'm on right now, it might not look like it's as bad as it is, but it's a pretty rough road, not very well maintained over the years, but that gives me a good idea of how smooth the ride quality really is here. And some might wonder about 291 horsepower under the hood. Is it enough? It sure seems to be as far as this Palisade goes. It has plenty of power, plenty of acceleration. It gets down the road with absolutely no problem. And I think that would be the same no matter what you have here. If you had a full load of passengers, well, I don't think it would be a problem in that respect. I'm just getting on it just a little bit here. Oh, wow, it definitely gets down the road, no problem. I'm going to slow down just a little bit there, but just easing into the gas pedal, that was actually quite impressive. So really not a problem. A lot of people don't realize that there was a time that vehicles had far less horsepower than what we have today. There's definitely a lot more powerful vehicles out there in this day and age. And so when people hear 291 horsepower, they probably think, that's grossly underpowered, but it really isn't that bad here. Now, it would be nice to have a full load of passengers and maybe some cargo in the rear, something like that, and we'd see what the difference might be in that respect, but not a big deal. And I'm going to turn that feature off, and we'll make sure that everything is as it should be with that. Waiting for the light to change here. Unfortunately, a little bit of time to kill. But overall, I have to say, the seating itself, comfortable. You have a little bit of bolstering on the inside of these front seats. It would be nice to have some on both sides a little bit more. There's some on the outside, but not as much as you have on the inside. But still, everything's comfortable. This isn't meant to be a high-performance vehicle, so obviously seat bolstering isn't necessarily needed. It just seems like it would be a tick more comfortable. But I will say this, the steering, the way it handles, is very nice. You can really feel the responsiveness here in the steering wheel when you turn it going through a corner or wherever you may be. And so hopefully we're not going to get pulled over right there. We'll just take it kind of easy. And then overall, a very enjoyable driving experience. Don't want you to see me get pulled over on video. Everything here is nice and easy to learn. So I know there's still a lot of people out there who have a vehicle that doesn't have all the technology that we have here. It doesn't have the infotainment screen and the cameras and all that kind of technology. And you might say to yourself, well, I'm kind of afraid of trying to learn all of that. This isn't bad. There's vehicles out there that definitely have infotainment screens that are more challenging to learn than others. But when it comes to Hyundai, I must say, not too bad. So overall, a very enjoyable vehicle to drive, comfortable ride experience, comfortable ride quality, and overall, everything here, it just works well. You're going to get great gas mileage, plenty of power under the hood for the vehicle, a lot of nice storage capacity throughout. Overall, a very enjoyable vehicle to drive.